Hello, this is Mixmaster. Uh, this is part 12 of a review of the Studio Series Mixmaster to the Diversity. And starts off with Mixmaster. Now, yes, I am aware that it wasn't the first construction to get released. So I do own Phone Crash. I feel probably gonna at some point in the future. I feel like she's starting off with mix just because um says so here. She meant to be one of the constructors to get released, but it ended up being with her. So yeah, and pretty much looks how Mixmaster typically looks. Got the very striking lime purple color scheme, mixed it with black, silver face, it's red. It's a very striking color scheme. That works extremely well. And so it's pretty much as well. I think it's exactly like what the Cabana Wars figure looks like. And there's a thing for the stream based off the Cabana Wars figures. Although it has similarities to robot mode. So once you get to the alt mode, it will look a bit different. He does, of course, have this missile pod on top of his head, which is a bit disking. And for also what you were less of a fan of are the arms. And definitely not a fan of how long and lanky they are. For the budgets. Except maybe they've folded up a bit, or just general engineered differently. Consider the back. Now it should be mentioned that you see that there's something missing, and that is the mixing chart, which is actually backed separately. It should be mentioned that you can't have the way with having different pegs. It doesn't have 5mm pegs, so yeah, pretty. So I guess you can take it off if you wanted to, if you just. But I think the way that it's a bit weird without it. You have underneath, you get multiple pegs along with a couple, a few tabs, which will go into various ports and slot. So line it all up like so. Just push it all into place. There we go. I think this is about right. And there we go. So I got the complete look, and yeah, it does. Yeah, can already pretty much see. I think what the alt mode looks like. Not too much. The sort of the transmission, but I mean, like that is typically is so articulation. So you can rotate the head 60 degrees. As you can see it, this one on the head does moving that a little bit difficult. I think it's just a head rotation. So you can recall it. Actually, no, it is on a ball joint, so never mind. So that's it. So although it should have bit the arms, so just rearrange this. So can rotate 360 degrees. Yeah. You do get this double hinge. I can hinge. So yeah, so we'll go to his shoulders going over. I think you can lower it down a bit. So that's not too much, I don't think. Position the legs. The bicep. So it would be better if this was run. Here's the bicep. Nope. This is the bicep. It rotates 306 degrees without issues, but it just sort of roasts the scalp a bit. It just looks So with the wheels, so it's probably better to, unless you're having to do switch the bicycle rotations. Let's say just look if you just keep it all straight. Elbows hinge up and down like so. Yeah, it looks weird and it up. No, rotation. No waist rotation since the ratchet joy. It's for that serves as the ankle hinge for the other side, so the left ankle hinge. Can move the arms up the way as much as you can. So then you can have the figure do the splits, and you do get that pretty impressive ankle hinge. Say there's a tab which will go into the slots right there. So let's straighten it out. You can have the figure sit down like so, or you can have the legs kick back like this all the way up, very impressive, and have the knee bend like so, and you do get a thigh rotation, as you can just about see here. There we go. Pretty much does have the standard articulation, but I just saw not a fan of how the arms are handled. So when certain poses, they just look weird. Don't look natural. So yeah, the one comes to actual accessories. Well, there's just one. And it's a gun, a black gun, which is fine. There's anything that special about it. So when awkwardly enough, we do get this port is huge. I'm not sure what the use. Well, I guess for situations, it might just be for this. It doesn't. Okay, never mind. I'm not sure why that's actually for chance. You do get ports at the forearms, ports on the soles of the feet, ports at the back of the shins. This is, I think, more of a Eastern ports, which is also into a screw hole. And well, the stats that are covered by the mixing drum, but they're not 5mm ports, don't count. So just unless you prefer having the applying onto the form, it's meant to hold the gun. So, and yeah, that looks fine, I would say, and that's pretty much all that's to say about the robot mode. It's a good robot mode, but it does have its issues. So now it's time to the transformation. So it's fairly simple, but there's some sounding can get a bit confusing for the first time. So to start off with, come to the back and just let you open up the mixing drum, which might be a bit difficult. Up there we go, detached. So there's only this touch. Go to the back and just let you flip out this section. So pretty much, I guess the sort of bucket, sort of filter, I suppose. And this reveals the towel, which will go into the same slots. Just close up the drum like so. And you can actually just leave it like that to roll mode if you wanted to. The mixer drum was actually packed this way, but I think it looks a bit better if you have it tucked into the jar, which I think is what's intended with the robot mode. I think for now, just open up this chest panel, which underneath has a slot which will go into the tab. And anyway, then what to do is get these double hinge sections for the arms. Them up like so. I think we're also just for now getting them out the way, since I'm going to move on to the legs. So what you're going to do to make these a bit easier is to activate the ankle hinge, and then you flip up this panel, which has a, I think it has any, just goes in my tab. Yeah, there's a tab that rests to the slots there. And the main shin section, just flip it up, and then what you're going to do is you flip up this section, so there's, and then you tuck, which has a slot which will go into the tab, and then the side which also has a slot to go to the same tab, so it allows you to suck it in and secure it in place. I'll just straighten up. And then this is the showing us confusing is to do with folding up the legs, since you have 3 hinges. So there's the bottom hinge, so you move it up like so. The up top one, which the hip joints, you move it up. So, and then there's this middle hinge. I'll see it. It's purple, and you have to have it bend down, which is really more difficult to do with one hand. But it's going to be this. Try and push it down. It's really rather fully show it off. Yes, I want to try and. Okay, I think I'm. Yeah, it's 4. So, and then it's to a point, I think, until you. There's a tab that's going to get exposed. It's. Yeah, it's really. Doing it one hand is even more difficult. I'm not sure if it's going to be. Okay, I think I'm going to have to do a jump cut. There we go, and so I've got this tab, and this is to the point. So I'm going to leave it like this for now. I think it might be easier if we just... Well, gee, there's actually something about the lesson that I have to show up, and then I think what I'll do is to do a jump cut. Okay. You're pretty much doing the same thing on the other side. So. Alright, so the aspect of get this arm out of the way. So what I want to show off about the mesh is that if you're bending the knee forwards, it actually exposes this port. So that's something that I'll show off. I think I'll essentially do jump cuts, but you also have to connect the legs together, so using these multiple tabs and slots, the undersides of the shins, so camera, and then you would have to make sure it lines up with this section sticking out of the bar. And so got it all folded over. Actually, I decided to just show it off. Yeah, just make sure it's all pushed in, all lined up. And then what you have to do, so go back to the arm. So now just to move the top hinge down, leave the bottom hinge up. And I'll just I'll try and get it straightened out, just because. And what would have once that there's then a slot to the a slot to the inner side of the shoulder. Go to the tab at the sides, and then what would also happen is that there is a small. It's meant to be a slots at the inner side of the forearm, just up, I think just below the fists. Go to this tab at the outer side of the shin. So just get it all tabbed in like so. Make sure well, at the same time you have to make sure that the arm is fully straightened out. So let's just realize that. Okay, there we go. There we go. Snap to place, and do the same thing with the other side. There you go. And then what you then have to do is that there's meant to be these two slots, which so the chest switch go into these two tabs in front of the shoulders, like so. And then for when you want to adjust squirrel modes, you have to use this tab section top, and yeah, this allows you to flip down the chest panel. There we go. And there we go. We got Age of the Prize Mixmaster mode. And I will say that the cement mixer mode. Just where's the panel isn't all the way closed up. There we go. So it looks very cohesive. It's actually a lot different to the Carbonable Sphere, which was a more modern and weird looking cement mix mode. This is a lot more of a G1 carrots mode. It looks great. So purple mixing drum. Wheels, tiles are black. Silver, and then the front section got purple windows. You get the silver grill. That the Decepticon that gets probably formed when you connect the legs together. So I think it's pretty cool. And it gets ladder detailing. These can pretty much be tail lights. Come to the undersides. You can see. So the arms are just there pretty much. Don't really transform that much. So let's see past the torso, and these are the shins. These are pretty much the feet. That's how far I can roll. You can roll pretty well, I would say. Rolls fairly well, which is nice. And comes to the gun, there is multiple places to put it. You can put it on the support on top of the front section, put it on the sides. You can put it into one of the ports of the bumper. And I think it's, I guess, the place to put it on top of this one like so. And this doesn't look too bad, I would say. So there's a turret, you can actually rotate it a bit. So there's that. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to say about should have. So I would say he's good, but not great. I think well, the cement mix mode, it looks very cohesive. Well, they did have the lime and purple color scheme going on. The transformation there's some confusing aspects to it. to issue. The rubber band looks good. Comes to issues, I'm not a fan of the weight of the rope. And the arms are handled. I'm not a fan of how, I think. How does for the arms look? It's pretty much all that I have to say about that. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. So to have mixed. Oh yeah, and the shimmer is going to be saved for the Devastator reviews. It's not all fixed.